I remember the day they laughed the loudest. I was just 18, standing in the cramped kitchen of my childhood home, clutching my battered notebook, my only sanctuary. I told them I wanted to be a writer. Not just a hobbyist, but a real author. The room fell silent, then erupted. My father scoffed, "A writer? That's a pipe dream. You're wasting your life. People like us don't make it that way." My mother rolled her eyes. "You'll never make money. Who's going to read your silly stories? It's embarrassing." My older brother smirked, "You're just chasing a fantasy. Grow up." Their words drilled into me like daggers. I felt humiliated, like I was failing before I even started. But deep down, I knew I had to prove them wrong. So, I left that house with nothing but my dreams and my notebook. I faced rejection after rejection. I banged on every door, literary agents, publishers, competitions. No one believed in me. They called my stories too niche, not commercial enough, or simply ignored me. There were days I wondered if I was fooling myself, if I'd never break free of that label, the family embarrassment. But every no fueled a quiet fire inside me. I refused to let their words define me. Years blurred by. I worked tirelessly, pouring my soul into my writing. I lived frugally, sleeping in my car during book tour, taking odd jobs just to keep going. I faced loneliness, doubt, and setbacks. But I also found readers who loved my stories. I started to build a small but loyal following. Then, one day, an editor saw potential in one of my novels. It was published, then another and another. My name started to appear on bestseller lists. Awards came, recognition I'd never dared to imagine when I was just that scared kid in the kitchen. Still, I knew the real test was returning home, not just as a successful author, but as someone who had truly conquered her demons. I planned my visit carefully. I wanted to see them, to show them what their doubts had tried to destroy. I also wanted to see the look on their faces when they realized who I'd become. My car rolled up to that familiar house after years of distance. Nothing had changed on the outside, same peeling paint, weedy yard, the porch swing hanging limp. But inside, I was different. I stepped out of the car, my heels clicking on the cracked pavement, feeling the weight of my success in every stride. They were outside, as usual, pretending not to notice me. As I approached, my father looked up, eyes narrowing in suspicion. My mother's hands trembled, and my brother's smirk was still there, though it felt different now, like a mask slipping. "Mom, Dad, it's been a long time," I said, voice steady. They exchanged uneasy glances. My father cleared his throat. "Well, look at you. Finally came back to show us what you've wasted years chasing." I looked at them, at every sneer, every dismissive word that had once made me feel small, and I realized how far I'd come. "I've been waiting to show you something," I said. "Something I wish I could have shared years ago." With that, I reached into my bag and pulled out my latest novel, a hardcover, beautifully bound, with my name on the cover. I handed it to my mother, who looked at it with trembling hands, eyes wide. "This is my book," I said softly. "It's been published around the world. People read my stories, they love them. I've won awards. I've built a life on my dreams, all because I refused to listen to your doubts." My father's jaw tightened, but he said nothing. Then I turned to my brother. "And you, remember those words about not making it? Well, I did everything you said I couldn't. I proved that even the ridiculous dream was possible." For a moment, silence hung heavy. I saw flickers of recognition in their eyes, shock, maybe even a hint of regret. But I didn't need their approval anymore. I had already claimed my victory. The following day, I returned alone. I wanted to see how they'd react when faced with what I'd become. I parked my car in the driveway, the house even more unchanged, yet my heart was different. I stepped inside, the familiar scent of burnt toast and old wood filling my senses. My family was gathered in the living room, their faces a mixture of curiosity and discomfort. "Mom, Dad, I brought something to show you," I started. I pulled out my awards, a sleek glass trophy for Best New Author, a certificate of recognition, photos of me signing books, speaking at events. They stared in stunned silence. "I've built a life doing what I love," I continued. "All those years of rejection, doubt, and struggle, every single moment was worth it. Because I proved that no matter how ridiculous your dreams seem, they can become your reality. Don't ever tell someone they're wasting their life. Because I was you belittled, mocked, dismissed. And now I stand here, proud, powerful, and free." My father looked away, uncomfortable. My mother's tears glistened in her eyes, tears I knew were a mixture of regret and pride. My brother shifted awkwardly, silent. I paused, letting the silence settle. Then I added softly, "This isn't just about me. It's about everyone who's ever been told they're too small, too different, too ridiculous to succeed. Your doubts almost broke me, but I refused to let them. And I won't forget what you said. Because now, I'm here to remind you that dreams are worth fighting for." As I turned to leave, I felt a quiet, profound power. I had come home not as the girl they mocked, but as a woman who had faced the storm and emerged stronger. The house no longer felt like a prison. It was my proof that no one can define your worth but yourself. Walking out that door, I knew I had finally sent the loudest message of all. That true victory isn't about winning their approval, but about owning your story, rewriting your future, and returning to show those who doubted you what's possible. I left the driveway behind, head held high, knowing that I had conquered my past and stepped into the life I'd fought so fiercely to claim. And in that moment, I realized I didn't just prove them wrong. I proved to myself that my dreams weren't just valid, they were inevitable.